Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my guest today is this incredible singer and songwriter known by the name of Alex Haymes. So I'm about to add Alex into the live now to have a chat with Alex about her incredible sensational music. So yeah, let's add Alex in and here we go. Hi
Hello.
Alex, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. I just want to say first up, thank you so much, Alex, for taking the time to join my show. It's such a pleasure having you on. To people that don't know who you are, Alex, if you can give like a bit of backstory about who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Well, my name's Alex, and I'm 21. I'm from Manchester in the UK, and I love writing. I'm an aspiring writer, and part of that is songwriting, and I like to share those online, mainly on my YouTube channel, and that's that's pretty much it. That's the deal.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the very first questions now. So for my very first question, so you've actually created this incredible song. I've actually had a listen to it today, and it's called All My Friends. What was it like creating this song, and like, what's the whole meaning behind All My Friends?
So all my friends, that's probably that's the most recent one that I've got out there. Um, it's basically about sort of like insecurity in social situations, and sort of how that can sort of stem from anything minor and just become this massive grand thing in your head. And I kind of wanted to write a song dissecting that kind of thing, and it was fun to write. It was quite cathartic because I think you sort of just get to be a bit melodramatic when you're dealing with things like that. So it was quite fun to write, and I wanted to keep it quite simple musically, sort of in terms of the chords, because there's only two or three chords in there. I didn't want to overcomplicate it because I kind of wanted to play with just repetition and like how monotonous those thought patterns can be. So that was kind of the intention with that one.
So on to our very next question. So you have also created a song called On the Doorstep. Incredible song. What was it like creating this song, and what's the whole meaning behind On the Doorstep?
So on the doorstep, I wrote it's the thing is with all my songs that they're basically based around real things and real people. But on the doorstep was about somebody that I had feelings for, and I wasn't really quite sure what was going on there, and I didn't really mind. And on the doorstep was just about sort of focusing on those like little moments that I'd get to share with that person and the sort of little details that were like really small in the grand scheme of things, but to me they felt really real and intimate, and I kind of wanted to put that into a song. So that's what that was about, and it was quite nice writing that one.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So you have also created a song called Bird Girl. Incredible song too. What
Thank
was
you.
it like? You're very welcome. I actually love the like your vocal range with like certain songs of yours. And you have such a gift, by the way, Alex. I have to say
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, I love like the whole vocal range you have. Whoever hasn't listened to Alex's songs, definitely go check them out because it's definitely worth the check out. Alex has definitely you have such a bright future ahead of yourself. You really do.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So with creating vocal ranges and stuff, so as we mentioned, you've actually created Bird Girl, which was incredible. Uh, so what's the whole how did you get into like singing in the first place?
um I think I always enjoyed singing, and it was sort of like in primary school they'd make us do choir practice, like it was mandatory. Everybody had to go and everybody had to sing the entire time. And I always really enjoyed doing sort of choir practice and sort of singing with the year group. And it was just something that I always enjoyed, and I always used to like watch musicals and things like that with my parents as a kid. So I always just had a massive like admiration for singers and music in general, and it was just a massive thing for me growing up. So as I sort of got into high school and sort of got older, I sort of became more interested in sort of singing on my own and sort of seeing what I could do myself personally. And it was just a case of seeing how it went from there, and just I love writing as well, so songwriting felt really like just a natural thing for me to try out and sort of see if I could merge the two sort of loves of mine together.
Who would be your like biggest inspiration, like music wise, for you?
That's such a hard question. I think in terms of vocally, I've always loved Dusty Springfield, just because of the sort of like passion that she has when she sings. And you really feel it when she goes for those notes, and like she's so passionate when she sings. And then in terms of sort of songwriting wise, it'd probably be someone like Leonard Cohen or Cat Stevens, just because of how like vulnerable and real they are in the words, and how sort of like relatable they make it, but not in a way that's pandering. It's like they managed to make it intimate but still accessible for everybody.
So on to my very next question. So you've actually created a song called Mean Mean Man. What was it like creating this song, and what's the whole meaning behind this song?
I loved writing that song. It was so fun because a lot of mine are quite sad. Like especially at that point, the like last few that I'd written had been quite like sad and a bit intense. So I was like, I just wanted to sort of let loose and have some fun with a song. And I'd been listening to a lot of Patsy Cline when I wrote that one. And I love in like because Patsy Cline has some really like sad songs and like really like heartfelt emotional ones. But then some of them she'll just let loose and have just a really great time, and she'll tell you how it is, and she has a bit of a sass to her as well, which I always really loved. So I was kind of like wanting to play with that kind of thing, and I just sort of was playing around, and I sort of wanted to write just sort of like a bit of a fun song about going through a bit of a tough time breakup wise. But I didn't want it to be like heartbreak. Like I wanted it to be like, oh, everything's fine. I don't really care. And sort of taking a different look at that kind of situation.
So on to my very next question. So you have also created a song called "As If You As If You Know." What was it like creating this song, and like what's the whole meaning behind this song?
As If You'd Know. I'm trying to get myself like back to when I wrote it. I think As If You'd Know was like quite an emotional one to write, just because it is quite a like personal one, and it was very much like it kind of is about loneliness and sort of mental health, and like sort of what it's like to not be doing your best but still feeling quite cut off. And it's sort of like, 'cause that can become a cycle as well, like you'll cut yourself off because you're not feeling great, but then you don't feel great because you feel cut off, and it can go on and on and on. And it's easy in those situations to feel alone, so I kind of wanted to voice some of those feelings. But what was kind of interesting when I put that out is I had quite a few people sort of say like, oh well, I feel exactly the same, so they do know. And like that was kind of what I enjoyed about writing it, is it kind of, I had a few interesting conversations with people who listened to it who were sort of saying that they felt the same, and it's like it was nice to connect with people and sort of affirm within each other that the feelings were valid, but you aren't on your own at all when you're dealing with that kind of thing.
So on to our very next question. So you have also created a song called "What We Deserved." What was it like creating this song, and like what's the whole meaning behind this song?
What We Deserved. I think that song's sort of about when things don't quite work out how you expected, and how, you know, not being on the same page as somebody else, and when things don't go according to plan or to what you'd hoped that they would have been, and you sort of, I think you can feel like you've had something taken from you, or like you're owed something, which is what the whole like what we deserved kind of narrative is about. Like we didn't get what we were deserved, what we were owed. But I think what I tried to do while writing that lyrically was to sort of add in minor details. So it's like, yeah, it didn't go the way we wanted, but we had the experiences and we had the little moments that are what will last forever, regardless of what happened. And then musically, it was What We Deserved. I think I just wanted to kind of play around and try and make it feel a bit melancholic, so it kind of had like a happy, sad kind of thing. Because that's what those sorts of feelings can be. Like, it's nice that it happened, but wouldn't it have been great if it had been a bit different?
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So what does like performing music mean to you, like especially as an artist?
I just love it. I love music so much, and it's always been a massive part of my life. And it's like, I think music's really formative as well. I think the music that you listen to in your youth and sort of as you develop into a real human, is like really, really important. And I've always loved music, and I've always sort of loved performing music with people that I care about, or performing music on my own, and sort of being able to write music and make things and share them with other people. It's just one of the best feelings in the world, especially when someone will sort of say, "Hey, I really liked that," or "Hey, let's talk about what does this mean?" Like that. Like, I was so like grateful that you asked me to do this interview, because it's just a chance to chat about what I really love to do and what I'm really passionate about.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it's just everything. I just love it.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So if you could work with any top three music artists in the music industry, who would they be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I think probably somebody like Conan Gray, because I just like I've followed Conan since sort of earlier YouTube days, and sort of been able to watch him blossom into this like charted artist with like millions of fans all over the world, and sort of getting to see him grow and like see his like skills and his voice change over the years have been amazing. And I just love the way that he writes songs and the way that he puts things together. He's just a really clever songwriter, and he's a really passionate musician. So I think Conan Gray would definitely be one. Um, I'm gonna say Jeff Lynne as well, from ELO, just because I love the like production behind everything that he does, and like how playful he can be in his music. And like, because I saw ELO the other year, at Wembley, and it was a great night, but the whole time you could just like see how much of a good time he was having with himself as well. Like, you could tell that was what he loved to do, and he was just having the best time, which made us have the best time as well. So he definitely, be on the list. And then, ooh, um, probably Lucy Dacus. I love Lucy Dacus, and like I really love the way that she writes, because they're quite like vulnerable, and she pays really like close attention to detail in her lyrics, and she can immediately evoke a feeling within the first line. But then she also like she tends to have like a bit of a like bite to her as well. Like, she has a bit of a like underlying dark humor, or like just a like ferocity to the way she was like sings, and what she's singing to you. So that they'd probably be my three. Yeah.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So what have you learned about yourself, like as a person, like especially during COVID?
Um, I think because I always perceived myself as being not a complete introvert, but I was quite a like I wasn't the most social person. I think I always perceived myself as like, oh, I don't really like too much. I don't like a fuss. I don't like being out loads. But then sort of throughout COVID, not being able to go out and see anybody, I sort of had to reconsider that and think, well, maybe I am a bit more of a social person, because I think I base a lot of my self-perception off the interactions that I have with other people, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but it is a thing that I think I do. And I think that was reflected quite a lot in like any of the songs that I've written, because I've got quite a few that I've written over the last year or so. And I think, yeah, I think I discovered I'm quite a sentimental person, and I base a lot of my self-perception and my self-worth in a way off my interactions and off the sort of time that I spend with others. So I think that was the main thing.
So on to my very next question. So what are like the positive and negatives into the whole music side to things, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Um, I think sort of negatives within the sort of like music scene and everything is that it's very, very difficult to get recognized or to sort of, you know, develop like a large following and all that sort of stuff. And I think the sort of age that we live in, a lot of worth and like just worth, I guess, is put on numbers and like on who's watching, how many are watching, where are they when they're watching. Like, it's almost impossible to have a conversation about any form of art or anything that you're putting out there without the question of numbers popping up somewhere along the line. And I think it's easy to put all of your, like, everybody's like idea of success is different, but I think the sort of universal one that we get told so often is like success is how many people are interested, or like success is what you have. But I think that that's something that everybody struggles with. That's what every creative struggles with, and I struggle myself with it sometimes. But I think what gets me through it is that I don't write for other people. It's great that other people are interested, but the reason that I started writing in the first place and the reason that I started sharing things in the first place isn't because I wanted people to notice me. It's because I wanted to say something and because I love it. So I think as long as you can hold on to why you started in the first place, and as long as you can remember that you love it and remember that this is what you wanted to do for yourself, then you can get through those like negative thoughts of, oh, am I not doing enough? Do people care? Is anybody listening? I think as long as you care, that's the only person that matters.
So on the very last question, so what's like next for you, like music wise, that you would like to announce on the show?
So I'm gonna try and continue with the YouTube channel. But I think I've been writing a few songs over lockdown, and I've been sort of putting them together myself with sort of better equipment than just my iPhone, which is what my YouTube channel is. And I'm looking to put together like a small EP and release that within the next 6 months or so. So that's what I'm working on at the minute.
Awesome. Well, would you like to perform one of your songs on the show, Alex?
Yeah, I absolutely would. I'm just gonna have a cheeky sip of water before I do, and then I'll get going. So this one's unreleased, and this is one that's going to be on the EP when I put that out. I don't know exactly when, but this is called Chai. Okay. I want a chai in our cafe, but I'm afraid I'll see in there. I'd sit by the window and I'd try not to picture you sat in the other chair. I miss the toast with salted butter, miss the peppermint tea, miss the mornings with you sat across from me. I miss the person that I was when I still had you there. Miss the way that you promised you'd care. I miss the music that they'd play, 'cause I'd always know the words, and to you I would sing the melodies. table still keep me warm at night, and I miss your hands. I miss the way that they'd feel, miss the way they'd hold your flat whites in the moats of cream and teal. I miss the smell of their banana bread, miss the cinnamon swirls, miss the days when you'd call me your girl. I miss the teaspoons and the napkins, miss the fairy lights, miss your laughter, miss your jokes, babe. I even miss our fights, and I won the child in our cafe. I wish you tried, I wish you stayed in our cafe.
Yes, Alex. Yes. Well, can I just say thank you so much again, Alex, for appearing on my show. It's been
Thank you
such
for
a pleasure
having
having
me.
you on. You're very welcome. Do you have like any last final thoughts that you would like to like say to people on the show?
I don't know really. Just thank you for watching and for being supportive. And if you ever like forget why you started doing something in the first place, just remember that it's because you love it and because you cared enough to start anyway.